Welcome to another edition of Inside the Artist with your host, John J. Ruppert. Today is May 11th, 2016, and we're sitting here with Cupid's Victim. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing really well, man. Doing really well.
Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Tamara Gomez, lead vocals.
Vincent Karbowski, bass.
Davey Dean, victim. I'm just kidding. Davey Perez, guitar.
Justin Ruppert on drums.
How long have you guys been together?
About 5 years now. We actually had some falling outs. In between that, we broke up, I want to say, twice in the time period we've been together. And then this last year, we got back together and decided to pack everything up and move to Philadelphia to try something different. Hopefully get more opportunities up here than we did back home.
And where is back home?
Corpus Christi, Texas.
What do you think of the Philly scene?
I mean, we can't really base it off of, what we've experienced yet, just because, we've only played a handful of shows, but I think we've been getting a lot of good response from the crowd, from different musicians that we've played with, so I think so far it's going really well.
And what type of music do you guys play?
It's, I always have a hard time, pinpointing.
So far, I've been able to get a good response with when we're booking our band with pop, rock, swing.
Or alternative, maybe rock alternative or something. I can't
we
really
have some
pinpoint.
swingy songs, we have something that has like a nice southern swing to it, but pop punk is definitely the underlining theme behind everything.
I would say we're just rock. Why can't it be that simple?
Can't be. Nothing's that simple.
Nothing's that simple.
So many subgenres.
What's your contact information?
You can contact us at cupidsvictimtheband@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/cupidsvictimtx, and we're also on Bandcamp. That would be
Just
Cupids.
the music.
What?
That's just the music, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
you can search us on
music.
Bandcamp. We're also available on Spotify and Google Plays and iTunes. So if anybody's interested in finding or listening to us basically for free with a paid subscription, you totally can. We have one album on there. It's called "This Is Home." It's a short EP before music we wrote before we moved to Philadelphia.
Do you guys have a YouTube channel?
We do.
We
do. We have a video that we put up on there called Makeshift Murder, and soon we'll have another one called Snow Angels in Hell.
And definitely be on the lookout for on our YouTube channel for a weekly podcast that we're going to be putting out. Right now, we're in the phase of writing a new album, and with that new album, we're going to have a full-blown website as well as a new shiny YouTube channel that'll have all of our updates. Instead of reading a post on Facebook that feels like an advertisement, you'll actually get a video that feels like an advertisement. So be on the lookout for that. We're also, in that video, we're going to do interviews with the bands that we play with, because one thing that I have learned playing in all the weird places that we've been booked is that there are some really great acts in Philadelphia, and because we have no draw, we get put in with other bands with no draw, and so you've probably never heard of them. You probably will never see them until they get a draw, and you hear about them, of course, but there's some great bands, and we're going to be doing interviews for them, showing some clips, and playing some of their music so that we can support the people that we play with.
What is your songwriting process?
We actually have a couple different variations of our songwriting process. I want to say one of them is I'll basically get a skeletal structure of a song with chord progressions, and then I'll write the melodies on top of that, and then the lyrics come after that. Or even before that, the lyrics and melody, I'll have Vincent come in and help me arrange some of the parts and just put his bass lines on top of it. And then sometimes he actually comes up with parts and skeletons of songs that he brings to me, and I put the vocals, melodies on top of that. And Davey always has his part in too. He always comes up with some really badass guitar lines to add on top of that to really just bring everything out and bring it all together.
In a nutshell, it's a skeleton that we piece together like a puzzle at the end of things. I mean, it never finishes the same way that it starts.
How did you guys all meet?
I can tell you that story. So, I want to say I was 15, turning 16 at the time. I was a freshman in high school. I went to Guitar Center to, just mess around on some guitars that I normally do that after school, let out. And I happened to run into Davey in the acoustic room of Guitar Center. And I remember spending must have been 3 hours just us playing each other's songs.
We were those customers.
Yeah, we just had such an initial connection when we met each other, musically, and just it was something different that was just there between us. I remember hugging him right before we left, and I just felt some sort of shock. We both even looked at each other. I felt some sort of connection instantly, and after that, we stayed in contact. We ended up dating for 4 years. I want to say the last couple of years we were together is when we started the band. We were playing around with the idea with our name. It started out Siren. We couldn't think of anything. We couldn't think of anything. And then,
oh, I didn't even know that.
And, okay,
you guys are,
so we tried spelling it different ways because, of course, someone already had that name. And then I was like, dude, why don't we just take the name off of your tattoo on your arm, which says Cupid's Victim. It's actually from a Tiger Army song, but so the 4 years that we were playing together, at that 4th year, Vincent came into the picture.
How'd you meet Vincent?
One of my friends actually introduced me to him, so I guess she messaged it on Facebook, and then he decided to come to one of our practices one day. He actually said he wasn't planning on coming that day, but something told him to come. So, I think all of this is really fate, in the end. So, after that, I always love telling the story because I was with Davey for 4 years. Things didn't end up working out with us, and I've been dating Vincent ever since. So, we've been together for almost 5 years now. And
really weird, fucked up love triangle.
Really weird.
I don't like you that much, so.
I think that I also just want to say that I think that adds to the bond that we have between each other. The dynamics.
We've all decided with this situation that what's actually important to us is what we do together. It's not like the little things that happen. I could be very jealous and just say, no, I don't want to be a part of this. You stole my girlfriend, but that's not how it worked. We took a good look at it, and we still really like playing music together. Let's keep doing that.
Well, and not just music. We're family.
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's a family.
At the base of things, you two are too much alike to make anything in that sense happen.
Yeah, we definitely butt heads a lot. That's
if you were to come over on any given night, you would find them yelling at each other and arguing and.
But does that make for good songwriting?
It really does.
I don't know.
In a really weird, messed up way, it does.
How do you think I get my anger out?
It really is one big mess of a family. And the saying is true. You don't choose your family. You choose your friends, and but you're not so lucky to choose your family. And these people are not just my friends. For some reason, I have to be around them. I don't know what I'd do without them. So here we are in 2,000 miles away from home. We left everything behind, and so far I'm enjoying myself.
And then we came up here and we went on Craigslist on the looking for love section, and we found Justin.
Misconnections.
Yeah.
Justin, we're so glad that we didn't, end up meeting a creep that day at the
well,
bar.
Glad is an overstatement. I wouldn't say that I'm happy that we met him, but he is a necessity. We do need drums. What can I say?
I think Justin has added a really good dynamic to the band. Just his energy on drums, it really shines through, and it brings all of our energy out when he plays. You can just tell how passionate he is behind the kit, and that it just makes all of us want to get in and be better musicians and just work harder and just have fun, because looking at him like, I can tell in your face, Justin, look at me. You're, like, you have so much fun behind the drums. And, like, it really is, like, inspiring.
He's
to
not
watch you
saying
play.
much right now because his throat is swollen. We're not going to say what from, but his throat is swollen.
Describe a live show.
Live show.
I honestly think the one thing that we can provide that's different from another band is you can actually tell that there's a lot of chemistry on stage. You can really tell that we vibe off of each other. We're really feeling what we practiced, and I mean that statement. We're feeling what we practiced. There's a whole lot of planning that goes not behind the show, but behind the music. Tamara's extremely particular about how we perform things, and all this. It could really seem almost like if we didn't have the energy that we did, it could really seem just like copy and pasted and taped together, and you could see the edges, and it would just seem like a terrible B movie. But with someone, with people like Justin and with Vincent, with their just raw emotion when they play, I guarantee you, if you ever get a chance to come and see us play, you will not be let down. We offer an experience that is second to none.
Now, your typical set list, is it all originals, or do you guys throw in some covers here and there?
Lately up here, we have been playing just all originals. Back home, we would throw in maybe 1 or 2 covers, but we definitely don't want to be seen as a cover band. We mainly just throw that in to please the crowd and just have some fun and just let loose. But I want to say,
I think we did back home. One of our favorite covers that we did was "Wrecking Ball" from Miley Cyrus. It was a lot of fun. It just putting a spin on it. Tamara did a great job on the vocals, and Vincent turned it into this real nice funk fusion rock piece. It was really neat.
Yeah, it's really great just because we are relatively unknown, so that gives people that kind of connection. They're like, oh, hey, I know that song. Makes them maybe not listen to the rest of it, but it draws their attention for that one moment.
I want to do covers now.
Yeah.
Who was your influences growing up?
I actually got a lot of inspiration from Avril Lavigne.
That's not bad.
No, I just love.
She's Canadian.
That's pretty bad.
I don't really like too many female vocalists, but just how empowering she was as a woman, it really inspired me, to do something, especially in an industry where it's mainly men that I'm competing against.
Being mainly male.
Yeah.
I guess for my influences, I was a huge fan of Green Day. I remember my first album being that I bought with my own money was Dookie. And I just sat there with the stereo in my lap, and I didn't want to move my legs because it would skip. And I had the CD, the album booklet in front of me. I was just reading the lyrics over and over again.
You can't read.
I can stare at the symbols. And my parents actually have video of me, them peeking through the door, and they have a camera, and I'm jumping around my room with a broomstick to that album, and it was that was a huge influence in my life. And then, like, more recently, I'm a really big fan of the Mars Volta. They're definitely making me want to be more a guide to me being more creative.
Your influence?
Well, I actually grew up as a classical musician. I was in band all through high school, ended up going into music in college, and that would be my biggest influence. I played tuba. I was about a year away from graduating, and I went on tour and decided that wasn't what I wanted to do, so I dropped out of school. And most of what I write comes from that. Just different techniques, different theories that I've learned, different pieces, trying to make it different from everything else that's out there.
Why did you choose the bass over any other instrument?
Well, playing tuba in college, a decent one runs close to $10,000. You can get a decent bass for $500. So it kind of made sense.
Well, plus tuba is like one of the bass instruments.
Yeah.
So
Plus the
obviously
band that
bass.
he left for tour, like, he's leaving out a big section. Like that, there's a band that was really big in South Texas, the Golden Age. They're huge in hardcore. Vincent was a part of that scene, and they needed a bass player to go on tour with them. knew that he was a musician, and
Didn't you learn how to play
yeah,
bass?
he learned how to play bass for that tour.
No,
No, was it
it
not?
wasn't just for that tour. So I worked at a pizzeria back home. It was on
Adam Condi.
Padre Island. And yeah, I met the biggest asshole that ended up being one of my closest friends, someone that I could call a brother. And he was like, "Yo, you play tuba, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, you could probably play bass. You want to join a band?" I'm like, "Well, I got nothing else to do. I'm working at a pizzeria and going to school. I figured why not?" So I learned it and found out that I liked that more than playing tuba. There was more emotion in it. You weren't playing the same standards years and years and years, and then everybody just kind of accepting that. Like, there's a little bit more innovation, more creativity you're allowed to do. It just turned out to be a better thing, more fun.
Well, I know you're a vocalist, but you play instruments as well?
I do. I actually started. I started playing piano when I was about 6 years old. I know how to read notes, but I actually never really learned how to just, look at a sheet of music and just play it from there. I always played by ear. And that's how I picked up guitar, too. One of my brother's friends actually taught me a few things on guitar, but other than that, I was basically self-taught. I started guitar when I was 10 years old, and I do write a lot of guitar for the band, especially, like I said, the skeletons, the structures of the songs and everything. It's heavily based on guitar that I start out with, and then right on top of that. But and Justin,
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah, for me, I guess my influence would be kind of like Davies, but not Green Day, Blink-182.
Oh man, that's the
It's only-
generational question.
It's that crossword right there.
That's. I honestly think that's the new question. If you for the, I guess the older generation, it was Beatles or the Rolling Stones. For ours,
Elvis.
or yeah, all right. Oh, yeah, Elvis or the Rolling Stones. Either way.
Elvis or the Beatles.
Yeah. I don't know. This is, I've been drinking, so I just put it. But Green Day or Blink-182 was a big divide in the punk rock world. So.
But yeah, for me, I just listened to Blink-182 songs. I saw how intense Travis Barker was playing live and everything. I'm like, wow, that dude looks so freaking cool. I kind of want to be like that. And so I just would sit there with a drum pad, listen to First Date and other Blink songs, and jam around and hit on there, and just learn songs on one little pad and pretend that I knew how to play a kit. And then eventually I just kind of transferred that energy onto the kit, and yeah, pop punk.
What would you like to say to anyone out there who stumbles upon your site? Describe to them what Cupid's Victim is.
Get with a big spoonful of salt. Just listen to it with a big spoonful of salt.
Everyone gets quiet.
Yeah, well, that one caught me off guard.
Yeah, it caught me off guard too.
I'm trying to describe what we are.
So basically, say if someone walked up to you and say, "Hey, I never heard of your band. What are you guys all about?"
I would probably have to say that the message that we're trying to get across is so universal. I mean, with the name Cupid's Victim, you're a victim of love. You know what I mean? It's something that everyone can relate to. And that's what drives people insane is love. That's what wars were fought about. Love. Everyone can relate to that. I want to say that that's basically the message we have behind our band.
Coming up with that off the cuff. I've never actually thought about it. Cupid. Well, I mean, Cupid's Victim to me, I was like hopeless romantic. And plus, I was a crazy Tiger Army fan whenever I got that tattoo. I was planning on it since I was 16. I was like, I'm going to get that tattoo. And now I'm just like, oh man. I should. I don't even know what I was thinking when I got that. I was young.
Do you have a favorite song you like to play live?
Yeah. Actually, I'm a really big fan of a song we have called "Cheers to the End." It wasn't my favorite. Whenever we first wrote it, I was really, really apprehensive towards the entire idea. It was so different. I wanted to. And it turns out that that's like a common trend. If I don't like a song, it usually turns out really good. But Cheers to the End it has a real nice kind of a Latin jazz feel to it. There's a lot of really
where my classical shit came in.
Yeah, that was one of Vincent's babies that the band nurtured to adulthood, and it's a really neat song. It has a little bit of everything. Has some hard rock in it. Has some of the Latin jazz that I'm a big fan of right now, because like the Mars Volta, wow, and
I want to say that song is very, very important to us as a band, because it always, takes us back to that one time in our life that we actually did a development deal with somebody. And that's what the song is basically based off of. We had this woman that came in and wanted to produce us. She
not so much produce us. It was a development deal. She wanted to make us better.
This actually has a lot to do with with local bands at the level that we were at. There are, in today's day and age, you don't get discovered anymore. And when you first start off, you go in with that mindset that when you're young, you're like, oh my God, someone's going to discover me. And this lady came out of nowhere. She said she was from California, and she was a development and A&R representative, and she loved our music, and she would do wonders for us. And us being young and naive, we were like, oh my God, this is exactly what we were waiting for. This is one step to being signed and being famous. Like, we thought that we could make a living with it, and we were very wrong. She was a fraud. She was an absolute fraud, and that entire experience, it was, at the time, we knew that there was something weird about it, but seeing, really looking back on it, oh my God, we were just so ready to believe that was it, that we were young and dumb.
Except for me, I called that shit from the
you
beginning.
You don't believe anything, though. Vincent is the biggest skeptic
I am a
ever.
skeptic. I will analyze everything to death.
What's your favorite song to play live?
Honestly, we have one called The Raven. It's a little different, I would say. Yeah, it's a little different than a lot of our other stuff.
That's one of the ones that I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, and nobody else really cares for it. I don't think as much as I do. It's a little on the cheesy side. It's kind of about being a musician.
Just about our love for music.
Yeah, a real simple topic. I think it has a nice groove. It's fun to play.
It's very high energy, which is really fun.
Really high energy.
And
it's a lot of fun.
That's one thing that I think Justin has added since we've moved up here, because we played that song back home and the drums were great. Up here, I feel he really gave it that extra kick, and that's what made it one of my absolute favorites that we have.
What's your favorite?
I would have to say this is actually one of the newest songs we've added to our set here. It's called The March. It's basically about being in a relationship with someone who is Vincent. I'm just, all relationships have problems. You're gonna go through dark times, and that's basically what it's about.
I just feel so bad for him, because you have to imagine being in dating a songwriter, the lyricist at least, and then having to hear all these sad love songs or songs about. I take my hat off to you, Vincent, because
I go to sleep every night feeling like I'm the worst sack of shit on the planet.
If you like the song, that's just got to be even weirder. Like, you're like, man, I really like that song, but it's about that time we argued about a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Shit.
Basically.
Yeah, so I have to say that
It's
that
great.
would be my favorite.
What's your favorite?
I'd have to say my favorites. I'd love to. That's probably the most emotional one for me.
I did not.
Whenever, I don't know. I just really like the groove to it and everything. And every time I play it, I just kind of lose myself in it. I mean, if you watch any videos of me, if you ever see me play that song, I'm like all over the place.
I would have totally
physically.
expected. Would it take my breath away?
Really?
Because at the end, you really let go. There's this really neat part at the end where he does his solo to basically end the song, and he really gets into it. And I guess that's just your energy. That's the energy that you've always really brought with you. It sure is
coming from the Peanut Gallery. That's funny, because I'd Love To is actually the oldest song on our set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
It literally is the oldest, probably by...
I wrote that one for you, just a few months after we started dating.
That's one of the good ones that she wrote about. When I wasn't screwing up left and right. But we're okay with that.
We're happy now.
Yeah.
Somehow I use that song as a source of irony when I play it. And that's like the funniest part.
That's funny. We actually took it off the set.
Yeah,
Oh, we did. That's
We can play
What a
12
shame.
songs.
It could be an encore song.
It could.
Exactly.
That'd be a good encore song.
It is a good song, and it has a really cool feel. That's one of the ones that we have. It changes time signatures for anybody who actually knows music. It goes from a 3 feel to a 4 feel.
And to a 68 at the end.
Yeah, it has a lot of interesting stuff musically that I don't feel a lot of bands do these days. They stick with the typical rock pattern, 4 on the floor.
Going back to the question about influences, I think that it's really important to say, like, bands that do that are in this genre, like emo, pop punk, that do actually look at their music musically, not just songs. Bayside is a huge influence for all of us. So hats off. For whatever reason, if you guys ever read or listen to this, I don't know how it's gonna be translated, but hats off to you guys. Songs like Mona Lisa, where it changes time signature and keys multiple times, over and over throughout the song. There are musicians out there. No? Just keys? Okay, then. There we are. Tried to sound smart, and I just put my foot in my mouth.
If you guys had a magic wand, what would you do to change the music industry today?
I think, actually, it's funny you mention that. There's actually one thing that has been bothering me so much with the industry. Something as simple as just having venues and promoters or booking agents like booking these, unknown bands and saying that they can't do that because you guys don't have a draw, which pisses me off because how are we supposed to be getting a draw if we don't get the exposure?
I think it's fair.
No,
Well,
I'm saying that it's just like it's like a cycle. It's like how are people supposed to get further up in the industry because of that?
It's a game that we play, and I feel like I don't know how it was back then. I feel like media has played a huge part in all of this just because you can find anything online. I mean, we all have cell phones that have the internet on it. And back when music was, I feel like, in its golden age, you saw a flyer for a show. If the flyer looked cool, you kind of went to go see it. I mean, you had no way of hearing what the actual band was because they were local. They didn't have any professional recordings. You couldn't pick them up in the record store. So you decided, you know what? I'm not doing anything tonight. I don't have a phone that I can constantly check on every 5 minutes to see what every single one of my friends is doing. So I'm going to go to this concert. And that's something that we don't really have the opportunity to deal with.
I do think that the music industry is it's different now than what I imagined whenever I was when I first idealized about being a part of it. But I like the challenge. With Tamara's comment about making it a little bit easier, I like that challenge. I do a lot of the booking for the band, and I truly enjoy coming up to a wall and because going from Corpus Christi, Texas to here, you're expected to bring an entire bill and book the entire night. A lot of responsibilities on you. It's new to us, but that challenge is something that I'll take with gusto. It's hard for us because we don't know anyone else. We can't book an entire night. We don't know any other bands, but we've been able to get bigger gigs. We started off with playing small bars that would give us that opportunity, because there are bars out there that will do that. They'll give you the opportunity to play nowhere. And I like to give a shout out to Connie's Rick Rack, and that's in South Philly, and Freddy's Tavern in Bristol, because they have done amazing things for us. Stacy that's with Freddy's. She constantly books new bands, and it's a crazy motley mix of all these different genres because she's so willing to just bring a band on. If you bring a crowd, she'll throw you some money because it is a drive. Or if you bring a crowd, she'll give you some money because it is a drive. But there are people out there, so you have to find them. You have to find those people, and then you have to play the house shows. It's a different world up here, and I'm still trying to make sense of it. But I do enjoy the challenge, and with the music industry nowadays, I wouldn't change a thing because I don't know enough about it. But I'm willing.
What's the best thing you like about the music industry today?
I'm going to go back with what I said that I hated, the media. As much as it gets on my nerves, it's also great that we can release something and it can go worldwide. The first EP that we did, when I joined, we wrote an EP, and within a couple months we recorded it. We got it pressed through CD Baby, and the way that they do it is they keep some on hand just to have in their store. There were people from Japan that bought it.
No, it was 2 people that bought
Yeah.
6.
Now, where can you purchase that? Can you purchase that still today?
Yeah, you can. That EP is no longer available, but you can purchase the current one. This Is Home. You can buy it on Bandcamp or buy it on iTunes. But you could also listen to it for a subscription on Google Play and Spotify. And that's what I'll say is my favorite thing, is the availability of music. There are so many different types of music, and it's so easy for a nowhere band to become popular purely because their music is good, not because they were smart about the business or because they had financial backing. It is truly just because their music's good. There are a lot of bands, like there's this one band that we're playing with, and I'm dead set that they are going to make a name for themselves. They're called Hodera, and their music is great. And there was another band called Man Dancing that we played with. Absolutely great music, and hats off to them. They have no financial backing. They're just making a name for themselves purely because their music is really good. And I that's what I enjoy about the music industry nowadays. It's where the political system should be.
Are you guys going to do any music videos for any of your songs?
We actually, before we moved up here, we actually started doing a music video to one of our songs called Snow Angels in Hell.
And that should be released the next couple
Yeah, we're
months.
really hoping that we get in the studio, finish that track, and then just kind of just stick it right on top of that video.
And that's more of a fun kind of video. We had the idea one night. We were like, you know what, screw it. We're going to do a video. We called up a few friends. They came over. Surprisingly, we didn't expect it to be like this. They came over with lights and a nice camera and this huge, I guess, what would be the word?
Well, it started off as me and Vincent talking about, like, we should do another music video.
They're
Makeshift
very
Murderers.
ambitious about it. They're very driven.
Yeah.
When the music video, they really want to get it done. We ended up spending 16 hours straight doing that. I mean, it involved like a lot of beer, alcohol, some Adderall. I mean,
It was a really, really cool experience. That was one of the experiences I'll definitely keep forever. Jordan Perry and our little Rojo, Ryan Johnson, they were the cameramen and the producers. They edited everything. They were just absolutely wonderful individuals. Jordan and Rojo are still continuing to do their work. If anyone ever needs vectorizing, Rojo has helped us with our new album art. So when we have our album available, the art that you will see on there was drawn by me and made to look really nice, not with markers, by Rojo. And then Jordan Perry is a great photographer and videographer in South Texas, so that really won't help a lot of people here.
But just to give them a shout out because those guys are freaking awesome.
It was 16 hours of absolute mayhem. Came up with the idea, just cut it short. Came up with the idea, called them, told them that we were interested in it. They shot over immediately. 10 o'clock is whenever we actually started storyboarding, and by 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock the next day in the afternoon, we were finally done. And we actually started recording because we were like, you know what, we're not going to stop until we actually record it. And I lived in a studio. At the time, I lived in a professional studio run by a man named Brian Meyerdirk. He's a really great country artist right now in Austin, Texas. But he ran a studio. We nicknamed it Bry Guy Meyerdie Superfly Stay High Studios. And we were dead set on recording it. We did not. We all passed out
we realized
on the floor. It was terrible.
We realized 16 hours of shooting a video was a little much to go into the studio right afterwards and expect to play
anything on
We were
time.
completely
The metronome was changing. It
Yeah.
was moving around.
We couldn't see straight. I mean, it was...
But the thing is, you got to remember that we recorded the song and with the intentions of it just being acoustic. But now that we have Justin in the picture, it's going to be kind of funny.
Seeing Evan Justin
Having-
play behind it.
yeah.
No Justin in the picture. We're going to have to edit him in there. We'll just put his face over a cat.
Because there's actually a scene in the video where we're in the studio and the guys are playing their guitars and there's just like a drum set behind me. No one's sitting there, just empty.
And that actually works out really well now that I'm thinking about it. because through our career back in Corpus, we've gone through literally 20-something drummers for various reasons.
He's not lying, 20-something drummers.
Yeah, I mean, whether they had families and they couldn't put forth the effort needed for an actual group,
Or
whether
just
they
trying
had,
someone out after the first practice saying, nah, this ain't
like
gonna
different
fly.
fits. Like, it takes a lot to find a fourth member that fits in with the family atmosphere that we've already had for so long. And that, I mean, it might partly be our fault, but we're kind of picky about it. And we got lucky when we moved up here. First Craigslist ad on missing connections. It just all worked out.
Anything else you guys like to add?
We're just really excited to see like what's in store in the future for us. You know, I mean, we can't really, like I said, base anything off of our experience so far. We just need to keep pushing forward and making new connections and just, you know, trying our hardest to perfect our performance and just hope that, you know, people will realize like the hard work that we put into this band. And I just hope that, you know, our message gets across to the people that we want it to reach to. So.
But even then, I would say we've had a good experience so far. I mean, moving up here pretty much is us starting from scratch. We're not a well-known band. We didn't get to go on any tours when we were back in Texas. So since being up here, it's just literally starting over, starting from scratch. As far as people are concerned, we don't exist. And I also feel like we're almost at a disadvantage because we didn't grow up with anybody here. We don't have that solid group of friends that just wants to support because they're our friends. And it's interesting getting that side of things.
Well, that's what you were saying earlier about when you're booking shows with other bands, they can become, as you just said, your friends.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys help each other out.
And that's been one of our main focuses, how we can help other bands. We can't expect anyone to go out on a limb if we don't first offer something for them. So that way, in little ways, we've been trying to help out other bands. Like I take my GoPro to different shows and I'll film the bands, give them the raw footage, help them out. I'm actually thinking about getting a camera for the same reason. Help out other people, and people want to help you. But you have to go out on a limb first.
It needs to be a community, basically.
Mhm.
We all got to look out for each other. It's a cutthroat industry. It really is.
When's your next show?
Next one's going to be a festival for autism awareness. It's called Elephants for Autism. It's in Mays Landing, New Jersey. It's going to be at a place called the Watering Hole. It's the entire weekend is going to be full of music, full of fundraising, and as well as people spreading the awareness of autism and how common it can be, and what the symptoms are. We really want to back this because this is something that we've been doing for a while, supporting autism awareness. It was not because we went out of our way. I don't want to try to ride that horse, but we've played multiple shows that were for autism awareness, and we continue to.
I want to mention that I did a song with a rap artist from Corpus Christi, Texas, called Flatline. He actually had a what?
Passed away.
He actually just passed away this past year, and he was very much involved in autism
son.
awareness because his son was actually autistic. He actually did a song. He wrote a song for his son, you know, about autism and his struggles, just on his day-to-day life dealing with his son being autistic. And I think it was a White Lion song.
When the Children Cry.
When the Children Cry, that's what it's called. But he basically just rapped over that, and I sang the chorus for the song, and I think I was just so honored to be a part of that, little piece of history.
She cried like a little baby.
I cried so much after hearing that song, just because you can feel the emotion in the song with what he had to say about his son, and just the love and the like super strong bond he had between his son, and you can just really feel like the struggles that he's going through, and the struggle that everyone goes through if they love someone who is autistic. It's very hard, and people need to understand that, you know, that it's very difficult for people like to just live normal lives when
Yeah,
they have someone like
Yeah.
that.
You sound like your mom.
And going off what she said, it was really moving to see someone who had that much of a relatively hard exterior just kind of break down because of a real aspect in life that
Not Tamara, but
flatline.
Flatline.
Because I was there when she was recording, and I got to hang out with the guys.
I
and
mean,
all that.
I mean, yeah, it was in a pretty rough part of town. I felt like I was gonna probably get shot just walking out of that
Yeah.
house.
But it was very humbling to see that.
Yeah, the guys were amazing.
It was super sweet.
I wish I knew the sound engineer's name who was recording that day.
I
But
do.
And to go back to the shows that we're going to be playing, so we have one at the Autism Awareness, Elephants for Autism. We're going to be performing on the 21st. The entire festival starts on the 20th and ends on the 22nd. It's Friday to Sunday. We're playing on Saturday, 12:30 on the outside stage. So you guys get a chance, definitely swing by. Even if you don't get to see us, there are a lot of really good bands. We'd like to make a shout out to Paper Machines. They're going to be performing as well. It's another band that we've played with before. And then after that, we're going to be playing a festival called Dockside. It's a summer festival that they've held for the last couple of years at Penn's Landing. So that'll be June 11th. Definitely come out to there if you're in the area. Penn's Landing Summerfest. That's going to be a great time, great event to be a part of. So either way, we'll be playing a couple shows, and it'll be nice to see.
Cool. Off topic. Do you have a favorite movie?
do I have a favorite movie?
Your go-to movie when you want to wind down?
Oh my gosh.
Oh brother, where art thou?
That's yours?
Yeah.
What's it about?
Oh, brother, it's about three escaped convicts, making their way on a false journey to help one of the convicts in his, he has this grand scheme of how he's going to get them all rich, and along the way they have different adventures. But the music behind that movie is awesome, just absolutely awesome. And I just recently realized it was based on the Odyssey. So the entire thing is based on the Odyssey. It's John Goodman and
The Clues.
yeah, the Clunes. The Clunes. That's all I will say.
It's so hard to, I can't decide what my favorite movie is, but I'll tell you what my favorite show is. It's Metalocalypse. I don't know if you've ever heard of Metalocalypse. It's about like a metal band called Death Clock, and just how like basically society runs off of this band. Like everybody loves this band. They're the biggest thing. That's what I guess the economy relies on this band. That's how important they are from
Overall,
their sales.
It's an exaggeration of what everything is now. And just a completely ridiculous exaggeration. And it's great. Because I'm going to go with her on that one. That's
your favorite movie?
Well, it's a TV show. They have a few seasons out. But that's something that we could literally sit there and watch over.
It's just so entertaining. Just being a musician, too. Even though, like, what they play death metal. Like, us compared to them is, like, just super, super soft music. But, I mean, just relating to them as musicians and just, it's just so entertaining to watch that. Just, because actually, the music is actually so good. Brendan Smalls, is it Smalls?
Smalls.
Whatever. He writes all the music and it's freaking amazing. I love everything about that
epic.
show. It's so
I think
epic.
That's the best way
It's
to
so
describe
metal.
It. It's just, it's almost a fantasy kind of thing because they're so big in their world. It's like, that's awesome. Music is...
Your favorite movie?
V for Vendetta. Yeah, it's a good one, right?
I was going with One Night in Paris. I thought that's what you watched.
One night, yeah. That's a good one too, huh?
Guys, I want to thank you for your time.
No, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
We look forward to seeing you and hearing you. And once again, what's all the contact information?
Well, you can find us if you just want to take a listen. It's on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. You can contact us at Gmail. It's cupidsvictimtheband@gmail.com. Facebook, you can check us out at Facebook/CupidsVictimTX because we're from Texas.
And I am Davy Crockett. Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.